Welcome to the Nutanix Cloud Summit Video Spotlight Series. We're here with Adam Clater, Chief Architect at Red Hat. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, glad to be here.
I'd like to start by asking, based on your experience, how are federal agencies balancing their use of their data centers or their on-premise resources versus public cloud services?
Sure, absolutely. So, I think we're all aware that there's a huge move towards cloud today, but a lot of that's really primarily a lot of the net new application stack. So as new features and as new requirements and new programs are coming along, certainly there's a big drive to move those into cloud. We saw a couple of early adopters in the federal government really move into a all-in motion on cloud, and sometimes that makes a lot of sense. So that lift and shift motion of I'm going to take everything that I've got and push it into the cloud. But I think folks are starting to realize that that's not always clouding right. And so there's certainly a focus today on how do I make the best use of the resources in the cloud as well as the resources that I have within my own data center. And so finding that balance, I think, is really going to be the struggle for agencies as we go into the next couple of years, as well as figuring out, in my opinion, a very interesting procurement situation when we look at things like JWCC, which was just awarded, and C2S. We're seeing more and more activity around competing individual task orders on multiple cloud providers. So we think that's also going to be very interesting to see how that works out in the marketplace.
That is an interesting development to watch. And then my other question for you would be is, given the technical capabilities of containers and virtualization, how much of a headwind are legacy applications to the efforts by agencies to modernize?
Yeah, so I think that legacy applications have their place. And so it's very interesting. I was reading an article just the other day that Mikey Dickerson, from the founder of US Digital Services, his crew wrote that said, they've gone into a lot of government agencies, and one of the things they've realized is that the mainframe is not the problem. So everybody's, the ROI on 40 or 50-year-old COBOL code is actually tremendous, and if it's just working, maybe don't tilt at that windmill. There are other things in the data center, and in fact, that legacy mainframe may be the thing that's actually keeping your organization afloat. There are other things in the organization to work at. And so, interestingly, with technologies like containerization and virtualization as a predecessor to that, we find a lot of workloads are being eased into the cloud in ways that maybe they couldn't in the past. I think the needle to thread is going to be, as organizations find themselves straddling both of those lines, how do we manage where our data goes, what data goes where, and how we manage that data then across multiple clouds? So I think that's an interesting problem that we're certainly interested in helping them solve as well.
Absolutely. Well, Adam Clater, thank you so much for joining us here at the Nutanix Cloud Together Summit.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.